Hey guys, welcome to another live stream. We haven't done one of these in quite some time, so it's good to be back. We hope you're happy to have us back, and we just wanted to kind of update you on some things that are going on with Lifeline and specifically look at some of the art of Lifeline today. So I want to start with a question that is really pertinent. What is Livestream? Kellen Liam at Kellen2243 asked us about that. That's a good question. So Livestream is a live stream video of Lifeline. So we put them together, Livestream.
Just makes sense, really.
Yeah. So this is us broadcasting to you from Lifeline HQ, and it's a chance for us to share some news, talk about some fun topics, what's going on with the Lifeline team, and also we'll respond to comments while the stream is going. So you'll be able to kind of ask us questions directly, and we'll be able to beam straight to your video. I'm Marisa. I'm the lead producer of Lifeline, and I've actually been on a live stream before, so I'm really excited to be back. And this is Chelsea.
Hi, I am a member of the Lifeline team. I work with the emails, so when you get one in your inbox, that usually came from me.
So today we're going to be featuring one of the artists of Lifeline, actually. We have a couple of talented artists, and this artist's name is Lyle. And he's actually going to draw something for you guys. It was about 3.5 hours, he said, that it took him to draw this, but we're going to speed it up so that you can see it evolve right before your eyes. And it's going to be of Tiny Taylor. You all know Taylor from Lifeline 1, Lifeline 2, well, actually, that was Erica, Lifeline Silent Night, and Halfway to Infinity. And we've kind of adopted this tiny version of Taylor as our mascot for Lifeline. So we're excited to kind of show you how this turns out. Awesome. So you're going to be able to hear us while this is going on, but you're going to be able to see what Lyle has been doing to create this piece of Tiny Taylor artwork. So it's really exciting. So I wanted to start by answering some questions that we asked Lyle so that we can get kind of a chance to get to know him better. So I think his first one was, what's your favorite Lifeline game? I was curious which one he liked the best, and he said it's hard to beat the first Lifeline, but the art and theme for Lifeline 2 are my favorite. Big old fantasy nerd. I can definitely attest to this. Sometimes we'll play a pickup game of D&D or do a little bit of fun fantasy stuff on the team. It's a good way to get to know your team members better. Are they a loot grabber, or are they a lawful neutral, or a chaotic neutral? You really get to know things about people, so he likes fantasy a lot. What's your favorite Lifeline game, Chelsea?
I like Whiteout. Yeah, I mean, I'm a dog lover, so obviously blue is going to be, it's special in my heart. But you can see here on the video, it's already kind of starting to take shape, what he's drawing. We got hands, helmet, body. Like we said, it's a tiny version of one of the favorite characters. So
yeah, and I'll kind of go into more detail about the process that Lyle's going through, so that you guys can possibly follow along later. Once the live stream is over, you can go back and replay and pause it on certain points if you want to kind of get a closer look. But hopefully you should be able to recreate something like Tiny Taylor at home when we're all done with this. Another question I asked Lyle was, how do you prepare to work on a project? And he said, I try to think about the scene or a mood I'm aiming for, then I will sketch out a few compositions. Once I find one I'm happy with, I will do a quick color pass of it to make sure that I have an idea of where my final product is going. I can also share this color pass with other artists, and they can tell me how terrible it is and how to fix it. He's quite humble, but actually I think most of the time it's just constructive feedback, and he does a great job, so I don't envision anybody telling him that something he's worked on is terrible.
There's other art that Lyle's done that's in the game that other people would have seen?
So Lyle's actually working behind the scenes right now on a lot of the cool new stuff that we have coming up. But the only thing that players will have seen is actually he did one of the backgrounds for our 4th of July update of the Lifeline library. So if you'll recall, it was another Tiny Taylor artwork, and his little buddy, the green, which is kind of showing up in the video now, and has kind of taken shape on his head. They were playing with some sparklers. So if you remember that was definitely Lyle and his signature. Okay, so I also asked him what's his favorite thing he's drawn for Lifeline so far, and he actually said this piece is the favorite thing he's drawn. He's done quite a bit of art for us that we're excited to eventually reveal to the light of day at some point soon, but it's really awesome that this kind of turned into one of his favorite projects, even though it was something that we did just for fun, so that we could show you here on the live stream. And then I asked him one quick question about his artistic influences, because all good artists are always looking at art and seeing what's out there. So he said he really likes a lot of old fantasy artists, golden age artists, and comic book artists. Recently, he's been incredibly obsessed with a handful of Eastern European artists, and here's his top 5. Don't worry about writing this down. I'm actually going to send out this after the stream, and I actually might send some while we're working here. I'll send out some tweets and some posts. But he said Joseph Clement Cole, Dean Cornwell, Sergei Kolosov, Ian McKeag, and Piotr Jablonski, I believe, he's Polish, are some of his biggest influencers right now, and they have some really cool art. So definitely worth checking out those artists and helping see how they can influence your art as well. Okay, great. So I'm going to go ahead and switch off with Chelsea, and we're going to talk about kind of some of what Lyle's doing. So it looks like he's kind of putting in some of the shadow right now. And he gave us a whole play-by-play of his process so that you guys can, like I said, go back and hopefully recreate some of the magic of this art later. So he always starts out with a rough sketch. That's actually probably my favorite thing is the artists on the team always send us their rough concept sketches, and we really get a chance to kind of see how it evolves and how it takes shape. And Chelsea's seen a lot of these as they've been turned into newsletters, so a lot of really cool art coming out of it. Afterwards, he focuses on the shapes and the composition, because you got to kind of block out where everything's going to go before you can fill in the details. He says he refines the sketch at this point, and he'll grab references to fill out any sections that I'm having trouble drawing. So he says it's hands for him, always hands.
Yeah, you'll notice the beginning of the video focused a lot on the hands, and so now he's kind of going through and refining them and adding shading and like a yellow color to give it, I don't know, more depth. Mm-hmm. So right now, which is perfect that we're at this point, you can actually see how he's refining.
So, Chelsea, have you ever tried to draw any like figures, something beyond a stick figure?
No,
rarely. Not a big artist.
I realized what my talents were in art was not one.
Well, I've definitely dabbled, and I would say that hands are one of my biggest weaknesses as well. I think hands and feet. So for some reason, if it's at the end of your body, it tends to be tricky. All those little bits and bobs, those bones in your hands and toes, your fingers and toes, are really hard to do.
Which I think is funny in that this particular picture, that there's a lot of emphasis on the hands.
And he did a great job.
Oh,
so
for sure.
I think he nailed it. Okay, so after he's got kind of everything blocked out and he's gotten the references he needs for the tricky bits, he'll go on to painting the actual painting itself. So this is a digital painting. He did this using, I believe, a Wacom tablet. But I've seen some artists do some really awesome things with iPad Pros. There's a lot of really cool tools out there. Honestly, they say that the best artists work with the least expensive tools. So if you can do something amazing with MS Paint, then that means that you're really onto something. So hopefully you guys will send us your best MS Paint art pieces after this. And then so he has to mask out all of the individual objects like Taylor, the green, and the background so that he has a chance to go in and select each of those as he wants to work on a specific part of the composition.
Yeah, I think at this point he's, you can see that it's kind of focusing on the background. He's adding the extra pieces, and I mean, we have the Taylor's drawn, and so now you can see the back is really starting to take shape.
Yeah, it's getting really atmospheric, don't you think? A little spooky. So we should have saved this for Halloween, maybe. Okay, so then he has to establish a light source. So as you know, it's really important to know where the light is coming from in your art. All good artists will tell you. So this is perfect because he's putting the highlight on some of the gloves. And I think that there's definitely a light source in this art piece coming from behind Taylor. And so he starts by actually painting the ambient light, which is just kind of the bits that are highlighted versus shadowed. And then he uses a hard light layer with a dark grayish purple to fill in the shadows. So it's a lot of going back and forth between the shadows and the light so that you can start to build the depth. All right.
Yeah, you can see the color changing and the different way he's shadowing each piece. Which is, I mean, depending on where the sun comes, it can change the drawing entirely, or where the light's hitting. So it's a really neat. It's really neat how it's coming from the back on here.
And this is actually the perfect time to talk about this. There can be multiple light sources sometimes in an art piece. So in this case, the main light source is some sort of glowing orb in the sky. It might be whatever sun is orbiting the planetary object that Taylor happens to be on in this picture. But there's also a light source coming from the green itself because they're kind of the glowy green. That's why I always check my Jell-O before I eat it because I feel like they look like glowing Jell-O orbs. But you can see that it's really kind of coming to life because they've got the shadow on the green itself, but then also that kind of dull glow on Taylor's helmet. So it really feels like the green's coming to life on top of Taylor's helmet. Awesome. So then after establishing the shadow, he says he adds a warm bounce light coming up from the rocks. So this will help him flesh out the background a bit more. So it's not just important that Taylor comes to life, but the scene itself has to come to life.
Agree, yeah. And I mean, the background on this piece too is so impressive. You'll see when it's all done, it's just, I mean, it all comes together and it's neat to watch it in this fast mode because you really get an idea of what he goes through in all this process.
He really tells a story here. We've got the background that really kind of puts you in a place. You may not know where that place is, but you feel like you're there. So he does a really good job with that. Okay, great. So then he'll add the main light onto the back of Taylor, and that helps Taylor pop out against the rest of the scene. So while the background's important, like we were just talking about, Taylor really needs to jump out, and we need to see Taylor first. So that's really, really important. Then he gets on to rendering. So he started with the green, and to render the green, all you need to do is fill in a darkish green color, change your brushes to blending mode, and then the blending mode you'll use is color dodge, and choose a lime green color. So set all your brushes opacity to low and paint in small circles, and blammo, you have yourself a green. So there's some tips for drawing your own greens. That's perfect for Mondays because, as you guys know, we do Green Monday every Monday on Twitter where greens take over. So definitely keep that in mind so that we can have some really cool art for you guys to show us of the greens that you've taken these tool tips from Lyle to make next time. Ooh, look, he's doing the reflections now in the helmet. So it's a shiny surface, and it's going to reflect what's coming off of it. So that just adds more of the atmosphere and kind of gives you more of a sense of where Taylor is.
Right, yeah. And the way the light bounces off of it looks really nice.
That's awesome. Okay, great. So then he says it's just a lot of painting and refinement, and you can kind of see him going in bit by bit and adding more details, adding more shadows, adding more light sources. There's just a whole lot of paying attention to, every little nook and cranny. I think that the hardest part about doing any art is, I know as artists, we tend to see the littlest thing, and it drives us crazy if we forgot something. So, just kind of take a moment to step back and look at your stuff after you're done and make sure that you've caught every little thing. He says the most common layer types that he uses, he wanted us to know what they were and what he uses them for, and then that hopefully you can recreate your own tiny Taylor at home. So he uses soft light, which is good for changing the local color of an object. Have a jacket that you want turned red? Soft light layer is your friend. Feel as though your character's nose could be a little redder. Soft light that thing until Rudolph is jealous. He's also a stand-up comedian, apparently. He's got lots of jokes in here. No, Lyle's a great guy. He's a real fun guy to work with. He also uses the hard light layer, which is really hard to say. Red leather, yellow leather. I didn't do my warm-ups very well. But that's great for getting rich, vibrant shadows. So that's going to add a lot of dimension, I think, to the piece. Mm-hmm. I think that things are starting to pop now.
Which I think is one of the best parts of this piece in particular. You see the clouds, you see the mountains, you see the reflections off the helmets, the way that the suit moves. I mean, it really does bring it all to life.
And then just two more quick ones before we kind of get into something else before he finishes up here. Color dodge is fantastic for highlights, glows, and all sorts of other weird things. I'll have to ask him to clarify what he means by other weird things.
Maybe the green.
Yeah,
the
possibly.
Green
yeah. And then the screen, which is good for adding in rim lights and other key light sources. So those are the tools that you'll need to make your own art piece, and then hopefully please do send them to us on Facebook or on Twitter, or even you can comment on this YouTube video once it's done after the live stream. We'd love to see what you guys have. We always love seeing fan art. Okay, so I just wanted to answer just a couple questions as well.
Yeah.
So we did get a question about, are there any updates for Whiteout 2? I promise you there will be more Whiteout 2 before the end of the year. There's a lot going on with the Lifeline team right now. They're working on a few top secret things. And so I promise you that everybody is working really hard to get you stuff as quickly as possible. But that you won't be disappointed when we are ready to kind of reveal some of the things that we've been working on. So it's worth the wait, I promise. And that was from Bridget Ricks. Sorry. Okay. And then Anna Domingo asked the question of the hour. She wants to know if everybody can finally see the radar screen. And those of you who don't know what that is, when Carlos was still here at Lifeline HQ, he had a radar screen that he used to track all of the characters as they were kind of orbiting around the Lifeline headquarters location. So we're going to reveal that to you right after this live stream. I'm going to post that on Facebook and to Twitter, so now is the time. Awesome. So it looks like the art from Lyle has finished up, and you're getting to see some of the great details here. And we're going to kind of wrap it up at that with a kind of an announcement. We just wanted to let you guys know you're going to be able to find this art piece in the Lifeline library after the live stream. You can have it as a background. It'll be in the background section of our gallery. And Lifeline Library is going to eventually be renamed. So we're going to be something a little bit different. We're going to be the Lifeline Universe. So you heard it here, folks. I think
big changes are coming, yeah.
Yeah, I think we're excited about that new name.
Oh, very excited.
Yeah. So we refer to things as the Lifeline Universe quite a bit. So it's very fitting. And now this tiny tailor with his green is in that Lifeline Universe. And hopefully we'll be able to come back to you with a live stream again sometime in the very near future. We promise we won't let you wait as long as we did last time. So we appreciate you guys being patient and being awesome fans. So let us know.
Yeah, let us know what you think about the image, and we'll let Lyle know. I mean, we are very proud of it, as he is as well. It really turned out great.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Well, thanks, guys.
See you next time.